It's the When Fishing Podcast. Applying techniques.
Then I put the C rigs on the A rigs.
Bringing fresh ideas.
They can't all be good ones.
Talking stories. Reports.
About 5 knots out of the wind.
Conservation.
You're probably too close.
All to make you and I better fishermen. Hola amigos, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo están? Unless there's just one of you, then it's ¿cómo estás? I got reports. I got the rockfish opener. I got some more knot jogging. We got the Bart Hall show coming up. We got something to tweak over. We got an email. And we got game plans. So let's get into it. Report. Got one report this week. I wish I had more to say. But it's just one little one. One by sea, none by land. Another windy and wet week in Southern California. Last I checked, our water levels all of our reservoirs are all up to snuff. So, good on you, Mother Nature. We did it. We filled them up. So, I actually really want to get around just to go see what the hell a lake in Southern California looks like when it's full. I don't think I've seen that since I was like a wee lad, if I've ever seen it. So, that'd be really interesting to see. Yeah, send me pictures. Send me postcards, everybody. Wherever you are. Show me your full lakes. But, yeah, there's that. So, what was I talking about? Report. One by sea. I went out last Saturday. It looked like a pretty piss poor short swell kind of condition, and so I didn't really want to fish, inshore or, outside of the harbor. So I decided to go take a look where I haven't really spent much time around LA Harbor. Go see if there are any halibut or threshers around, because the water was starting to warm up and then it kind of dropped off and then warmed up again and dropped off. But it's been like flirting with 60 degrees, which in my limited knowledge, I would think that at least a few little threshers have been born and are haunting the inshore by now. So I went to go look at that, go find the mackerel first, and then go find the game fish that would eat the mackerel. And I definitely found some mackerel several weeks ago in the area, so I figured it wouldn't be too hard to find them. But I was wrong. I made my way outside of my harbor, and then I went over and trolled around the jetty with a sabiki and a crankbait on the end, and saw a bunch of marks that looked like very macky. And it was not Max, it was Jack Smelt, and they were full of eggs, and they were pooping their eggs all over my sabiki, and that was fun to deal with. So it was I was very quick to leave those marks after that. Got out of there, went looking around some more, and then I got hit by the short swell, and it was that kind of swell that's like just like an obnoxious yacht wake. Just like really, really, really short period. And, yeah, it wasn't something I wanted to go like dead into for, any amount of time to go offshore. So I did not do that. Went into LA Harbor, saw lots of marks, very promising. But nothing bit anything. So there's your data point for that. I was trolling on the bottom with a crankbait for like halibut and or bass, and I saw a decent amount of marks. At least a few had to be bass. Maybe it's just like loaded with trash there. Bodies. I don't know. But I haven't really spent any time in LA Harbor. I've only like on my way back from fishing other areas. I would just hop in there and just roll over a wreck or a reef for something I was curious about, and then didn't get anything, and then I'd come back. And this time I checked out a lot of spots, a lot of different spots, and There was some life. There were some bait balls down low, but nothing puddling on the surface like I have seen in previous weeks, and some turns, one-off diving here and there on what I assume was micro bait, and assuming peak capabilities of turns, because I never saw them with anything. So, and I don't think that those are not the Guggen birds. The Guggen birds or any or other ones. But yeah. So didn't see any signs of threshers. Don't really. Nobody knows what to look for with to catch a halibut. But I looked and looked. Didn't catch any mackerel. Didn't catch any halibut or threshers. Just caught like the 4 jack smelled at the beginning, and that was that. So long-winded report for a very pretty boring day on the water. Nice weather, but that was that. And then the rest of the week, I had one window and it didn't work out. But I'll be going next week for sure. Almost went today this morning, but the window was really, really, really tight. It was like as soon as a short swell stopped, like the wind would start. So I just didn't really want to waste my time with that. I've got a very full plate, so can't be just lollygagging around. So yeah, are you excited? Are you excited? It's bottom fish opener tomorrow out here in California, at least SoCal. I don't know what the hell's going on up north, but ground fish. Oh yeah, get those reds. Yeah, where I'm gonna be going tomorrow, April 1st, motherfuckers. It's time to go load up on rockfish and get stoked on that for a week. So that'll be fun. The changes this year, I wrote down some stuff just to give people refreshers in case they forgot or whatever. And yeah, so some new regulation. The main new regulation on rockfish is that there is no depth limit this year. So a lot of spots will open that you and your dad and maybe even your granddad haven't been to before. So now we all get to fish those spots, see what's up. It may or may not be exciting to do that. Last 2 years ago or something, they opened it up from 75 fathoms to 100 fathoms, and so we all got stoked on that. We're like, oh, the big fish are hiding between 75 and 100 because they don't know. They know that we can't get over there, and nothing really happened with that. Like that 500 to 600 foot range, not to my knowledge. I didn't get anything cool, but yeah. So now there's no depth limit, but what that really means is that opens up a few like sea mounts that were protected because they couldn't be. They are in like 100 feet to like 400, 500 feet of water, but because of the way that they draw the contours, you have to be like what there's like. What's the opposite of C word? Like land word. High vocabulary. But yeah, you had to be inside of the like 100 fathom contour, and so like in relation to land masses, so the Channel Islands and the mainland, and now it's all open, so we don't have to worry about these contours and stuff. So that's nice until September 15th. I'll get to that. But yeah, so no depth limit. That's great. So we get to try some new spots, and we get to fish it opens up more spots for fishing for thorny heads and sablefish and things like that. Because there was a little hack that you could do while there was like the 100 fathom line that you had to stay inside of. They picked like 100 points or something like that along the coast, and as long as you were inside of those points, you could fish really whatever depth. So like pretty much all of the canyons in SoCal, at least like the mouths of them or the first like mile or two of them were definitely deeper than 600 fathoms, 600 feet down to, so you could actually fish down to, in some spots, like 1,500 feet of water for bottom fish. And it was technically legal because it was inside of their pre-selected coordinates for their contour line. So it was kind of a weird way to go about it, but it was possible. So yeah, that's fun. I believe the regulations for the species are the same as the last year, but just as refresher, vermilions you can keep 4, coppers you can keep 1, quillbacks 1, no bronze spotted, no yellow eye, no cow cod. Tooling cod at 22 inches. Kelp or rock greenlings 12 inches. Cabezon 15 inches. No limit on petrile sole or starry flounders. You can keep your 10 pinbacks. You can keep your 10 ratfish. And then a partial closure after September 15th through December 31st. You can fish deeper than their set of coordinates for the 300-foot contour, the 50 fathom. So you're gonna have to look those up, because I'm not gonna go through all the species, because they did a really weird job of selecting which species you could keep or release. It's like deeper than 300 feet. You can keep stuff like, I definitely saw all the stuff that I would normally see, like vermilions and boccaccios and green spots and some other stuff. But then there's like some shallow water ones that like the grass rockfish and the brown rockfish and things like that are going to be closed. So go Google that shit. Make sure you're on it. Yeah. And then if you're feeling frisky, vermilions you can keep 4, but if you're fishing deeper than 100 meters, 328 feet or so, what you think is a vermilion might actually be a sunset rockfish. Thereabouts 10 years ago, they discovered that there was a different species of rockfish that looked exactly like the vermilion rockfish. It's called the sunset rockfish. Basically, the only way to discriminate one from the other is the depth that they're in. You might be able to. I wouldn't call it definitive, but some might say that the sunsets are a little bit brighter red or something. But you basically would really have to. The only way to really determine it would actually be through like genetic testing. So if you're feeling like an asshole, you could fish in like 400 feet of water, get like 10 reds, and they might be sunsets, and then you could bring them home, and then the DFW will be like, what the fuck are you doing with those 4 vermilions? And you'll be like, oh, those are sunsets. Don't worry about it. Okay. And then he'll write you a ticket, and you'll show up in court, and by then you'll have done the genetic testing to conclude one way or the other. So have fun with that. That's my little daydream that I've been playing with for a long time, and I'm not going to do it. But yeah, so. And any other notes as we get into the rockfish season? Get hyped on the rockfish. We got my favorite fish, the largemouth paisano, the boccaccio. Me and my dad have always been kind of ho-hum about him, because you really, as you're reeling up, you're really hoping like, oh man, this is a bigger one. I hope it's a big ass red. And then you bring it up and it's like, nope, it's just a boccaccio with its mouth open. And now you're gonna fillet it, and you're gonna find all these worms, and then you're gonna chew on it. It's gonna be chewy, and you're gonna hate it. So, but it's already gonna be dead. So What do? Well, I'll tell you what you do. Once you fillet that largemouth paisano, you batter it. You batter it. You treat it like calamari. Any way that you want to eat calamari, you eat it like calamari because it's just a little bit chewier. It's a decent amount, noticeably chewier than other rockfish fillets I've found. But like as soon as you start to treat it like calamari, then it's like actually very enjoyable. That's my little uh, uh, mind fuck tip of the day to feel a little bit happier about catching your largemouth paisanos. And then yeah. And then other than that, I went over sunsets on paisanos, thorny heads. I ain't never seen a thorny head in person. I'd like to, so that's going to be a goal this year to try and find one of them. But they are going to be over like sandy bottoms and like nondescript bottoms, so it's not going to be very easy to locate them. You might be drifting a long ass time trying to catch yourself a damn thorny head. So, and then they've got these. Their head is like almost like half the size of their body, which is like it's a very silly looking. It's not a rockfish, but it looks like looks most of the way like one. So I hear that their fillets are a lot like scorpion fish, so that's something. And they don't have swim bladders, so if you catch it and you think it's cute, you can throw it back and it might survive. So there's that. And that's all you need to know from me on a rockfish opener. So moving on to knots.
Well, this guy thinks he's Captain Knots. Thinks he's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him. Bullshit.
I didn't really do much more knot research. I did play around just a wee bit with the idea that last week I said that because a loop knot and a line-to-line connector, they both end up with 4 ends of the knot. However, well, coming out of the knot, they're not ends. I suppose there's really only 2 ends out of the loop because the loop is connected. But there are just a couple of knots that are basically the same as another knot. There are a few loop knots that are basically built the same as a line-to-line connector knot. I believe I found the sea-wire knot and the blood bite knot to be essentially the same knots, except that one is tied with 4 ends and one is tied with 2 ends. So, or one is tied in the middle of the line and one is tied with tying 2 lines together. How many different ways can I say it? So yeah, so that was an interesting concept, and I played with it just a little bit. It does get difficult after the Seaguar and the blood bite knot. There's not that many others that do that. I tried doing a couple others, and it didn't. Oh, what did I do? I did a weird one the other. Oh yeah, I was trying to do an Albright. I was trying to see like if I tied an Albright or loosely followed like the shape of an Albright as you tie it, except just in the middle of the line. Bless. And it turned into something. It made a loop, but it wasn't making the loop where you thought it would make the loop, which was really fucking weird. But I think did it hold? I don't know. Try it at home, kids. But it was it's a little trip, and I continue to implore all of you to try to do dumb shit with knots to see what happens. So yeah, and then I kind of settled on the idea that I really learned to like I've been tying a standard dropper loop for I don't know what's it been, 15 years or something like that. And I I like it with heavier line, below 20 pound. It pretty much always slips, or like something bad happens at low, at low tension. So I've learned to become very, wary of it. So I tried out the blood bite knot, and holy hell, like that. I mean, I guess I started to, I tied them side by side, or like one after the other, to see if, the blood bite is so quick to tie once you get used to it. It's like, I don't know, it might be like a 5-second knot. It's ridiculous. And a dropper loop is, I mean, if you're quick with that, it can also be like a 10-second knot, but like the blood bite is like 10% to 100% faster. It is wicked. So, I'm excited about that, but moving forward, after all these experiments, I've pretty much decided that from here on out, anytime thereafter, there will be no dropper loops in my lines if they're under like 25-pound test. But I'm probably gonna move to like probably like maybe 40-pound test for a lot of things, for loop rigs. But I'm gonna be tying the blood bite from now on, and then 20 pound and below, I'm just gonna do like a drop shot style, whether that be a hook at the drop shot or like a swivel and then a tag line. So yeah, so that's my little spiel on all that. I can pretty much all but close the book on that whole little project, so you can listen back to previous episodes over my Tweakin over knots, to understand my the full scope of the tweaking. So, moving on. It's tweaking time. So I've been drawing up some floor plans for some boats the past couple weeks. I have a Saturn SK 470 XL. It's a 15-foot long, about 4 foot wide, 18 inches between the pontoons. That is an inflatable. I have a 4 horsepower Yamaha on the back of it, and I had a 6 horsepower Mercury for a while, and then I sold that off. And it is a wonderful boat. It is a wonderful entry level boat, because like I bought the hull new, shipped to me for like $900, and then the motor was like $700 ish, each of those 2 motors. And it is a really interesting boat, and it exceeded my expectations. I bought it because I kept wanting to like kayak fishing for a long time, and every time I got on a kayak, I was like, yeah, this is why I don't like this. Like, if you store stuff behind your seat, and I don't want to stick my feet in the water, so like I like pull my shoulder, or like throw out my back, just trying to like make a 180-degree turn, trying to grab my tackle or my lunch bag or whatever the hell. And so now I have a bad shoulder, and I'm like 2 miles out just paddling, and I'm tired, and now the wind's going to come up, and I'm seasick because you're so goddamn low, and you feel like wibbly wobbly, like, you can't really stand on it. Your speed is like maxed out at, like, I don't know, if you took a bunch of HGH, you could probably get going like 7 miles an hour. So it's not ideal to me. And then you can only really, I mean, I guess depending on how you outfit it, you could bring more than 2 rods, but it becomes messy. It gets messy real quick. You have to be super duper minimalistic, and as much as I want to be minimalistic, it just didn't seem worth it to me. So I decided to get the inflatable, with the idea that I would just be able to do whatever I was going to do on a kayak, except with a boat. And anything after that would be a huge bonus. And then as soon as I got out of the harbor the first time I used it, I was like, oh my God, like I'm going like 10 knots and like I'm just going to drive. And and then I like did like 40 miles round trip on my first no, I did like I think I did 30 miles round trip on my first trip, and I was like, oh my God, this is sick. And it was just coastal thing, and then I realized that it can like it's seaworthy as hell, and it's not gonna flip like people might think. They see it at the dock or whatever. They go, oh, are you gonna go to the jetty? And I go, no, I'm gonna go much past the jetty. They go, whoa. And yeah, so it's been cool. I've targeted offshore creatures like bluefin and mahi and all the other things, and I've learned a lot more about boating than I thought I would from this boat, and yeah, it just kicks a kayak's ass. But yeah, so I just want to go over like just a quick list of how I've created this the layout for this boat, because now I'm getting ready to, well, I'm not really getting ready. I'm just daydreaming. I can't afford to get another boat, but I've started daydreaming about other boats. But just to give you an idea of where I'm at, like I've evolved from like kayak fishing into this boat, and so these are the adaptations. The following are adaptations that I've made to grow as a boater and use what I got and do the best that I can, and then realizing the limits of it, and then looking forward to the boats that I would like to get in the future to maintain the balances that I like and evolve further. So yeah, so the hull, I already said it's like a 15 by 4, and also it's very a lot more durable than I thought. It's PVC. The next step up would be Hypalon, and Hypalon would make me more comfortable for sure. But the worst I've had so far have just been like little tiny pinholes. It might have been from like rockfish spines or whatever, but it's nothing serious. And then here and there's a little leak out of the seams, and those are easy to clean up. You just use like a dab of super glue and here and there a PVC patch. But yeah, so that's the hull. And then I've got a 6-gallon tank, and I get about with the 4 and the 6 horsepower engines have performed about the same. I'll get it's a really it's a ridiculous range. I get anywhere from like 10 upwards of like 30 miles per gallon. Like there have been days when I've gone out like 60 miles and I return and I'm like, I haven't even burned like half the tank of my 6-gallon. And then other days, you know, I go out on a couple coastal trips that are just like 10 miles round trip, and I feel like I've been burning more closer to 10 miles per gallon. So but the 6-gallon tank is all I can really take as far as my physical endurance. And then moving forward from the stern, from the engine to the fuel tank, and then I built. So at first there was like these aluminum seats that you'd like stick into these nylon folds, and so that then you'd have your aluminum bench seat that you could just pop in and out. But then I got tired of sitting on the aluminum bench seat, so then I got a swivel seat, and then I couldn't really sit on. I tried installing the bench seat, or I tried installing the swivel seat to the bench seat, and then like of course you can't lean back on that, it'll just pop out. So then I tried installing, like I tried to get difficult with it, and then I eventually built like this big DIY PVC bench that like would support me whichever way that I wanted to lean, and then there was also room for accessories. And so I added some like rod holders, and then like under my legs there's room for my electronics. So I have like my fish finder in there and a compass and my phone mount all connected to the various spots of the PVC. And then on the forward end of this whole bench seat, there's a couple of rod holders that are positioned in a way, and and this is all built out of like 3-way connectors, 4-way connectors, a couple 5-way connectors. So it's just this whole like, there's like 2 levels to it, and yeah, it's about 8 inches high, and then I added the swivel seat on top of it, so it's pretty badass, if I do say so myself. But yeah, so then it's got the rod holders that I think they haven't been like put really to the test yet, but I'm pretty confident that they'll handle like a big game bite if I'm trolling at with like 8 pounds of drag or something like that. So time will tell. I'm gonna have them. I'm gonna have the reels attached to the boat, but just in case, because it is wacky. Then moving forward to that, I have like 4 feet of open space on the boat so that I can put like a tackle bag, kill bag, lunch bag, and those bounce around a lot. So I put those like forward of the milk crate, which sits about 4 or 5 feet in front of me, and that milk crate has 12 PVC rod holders on the outside of it. So those rod holders help the milk crate to be snug between the pontoons, and then I can fit. I suppose you could fit 12 rods, but I would never actually bring 12 rods. I guess I went to Clear Lake with Jared, and I think we had like 5 rods each or something like that. It was a little bit ridiculous, but it was doable. But these days I bring like 3 rods, maybe 4 rods, and then I have 2 gaffs, and then I have my 2 oars, and a metal bat, and that covers me. And then I've realized that like trying to use the hook keepers on the rods like while underway doesn't really work out. Like as you're bouncing, the line starts to loosen, and then all of a sudden you've got like a surface iron that's just like slapping around the boat and just like tangling with everything, and it's just ridiculous. So I've started to just stick the whatever lures I have, like just stick them into a PVC rod holder adjacent to the holder that the actual rod is in. So that's been pretty dope. I've had a lot less problems since beginning to do that. And then inside the PVC crate, I have like my safety equipment and some other miscellaneous stuff. And then forward of the PVC crate, I have like some. That's where I would put my bags when I know I don't need them, and like my anchor bag, which I never use. I just pretty much drift fish always, and it's just an emergency thing. So yeah, so that's the way that I've set up the boat. And so the things I like about it, it's fuel efficient. It's went over a bunch of this. This is just my notes that I went slightly out of order with. Just super durable. And so I fold it up when I'm done with it, and I take everything out, and then I assemble it in the morning before I go out. And it's about a 30-minute, if I'm like really dialed, up to like an hour assembly time, and then about the same coming back. So I've been doing it for about 2 years or so now, and it's I've put in a lot of days, and it's been great. But like I am starting to get to a point where I'm like, God damn it, I wish I had just a trailer that I could just drop this boat in, and then like when I pull it out, I could just like hit it with a hose, instead of like having to like pull the air floor out of this thing and like and flip it over and like use a little garden like chemical sprayer that's just filled with soapy water to like wash it down and shit, and then like folding it up is a bitch. Then I gotta like it's a 100-pound like hull, and once I fold it up, I pick it up by myself and throw it on the roof of my sedan. It's very ridiculous. And and there have definitely been some mornings lately where I'm like I wake up at 6 a.m. and I'm like, what was I gonna do? I was gonna fucking like slap some whitefish around. Fuck that, I'm sleeping in. Like I don't want to deal with all that shit. So it's happened, and I don't really want that to happen. I want to like wake up and just pop out and go, yeah, let's go kill some whitefish. So yeah, so the assembly gets old. I would like more space in my boat. I mean, It's 18 inches between the pontoons, and it's probably like 13 feet of like usable floor. So you do the math, and that's somewhere around like 20 square feet, I guess. And I could definitely use a little bit more. And it would also be nice to stand. I can stretch pretty well, and in a harbor I can stand, but like I wouldn't stand like outside of a harbor. It's just kind of like a skateboard slipping out from under you. So yeah, I want to get off the tiller. I'm pretty fucking tired of tillers. My shoulder blades get tired. And getting faster than 10 knots would be nice. And then having a hard hull that's like, like fiberglass or aluminum or whatever would be nice. Like I can actually target like toothier things or swords or whatever and not trip out when I see them. Sometimes I see a shark fin, and when I'm out there, and I'm not like, it's not that I'm scared of sharks. It's just like, hey, like keep that away from me. All right, buddy. Okay. See you later. And like if I were in a fiberglass hull, I probably would have seen that and been like, let's throw a Mac on that. Let's see what happens. So, that's my trade-off. But so what do I want to move up to? What's a little boat man like me looking to upgrade to? Well, I'm looking at catamarans, bro. I'm looking at cats. I was looking at a lot of stuff for a while. And I was before I bought the inflatable, I was thinking about doing an aluminum, and then like I've seen a lot of custom fits, custom upgrades for aluminums, whether it be like John boats or deep V's, and I think it's really interesting what they can do with it. But I do find that like the deep V's are pretty damn wobbly, and I suppose they are seaworthy, but it's just not really like after working with this inflatable for so long, it's like damn, like I don't have to deal with rocking. I just don't. Like when I get onto like another person's skiff, I go like, whoa, rocking? Like what is this? So what is this, a concert? But yeah, so I really want to move to a catamaran, but there's really not that many options for catamarans in like the sub 20-foot realm. Like you basically just have Livingstons and Livingstons. I've recently discovered a couple others. I guess as of last year, I discovered Mexicat, which is out of Ensenada, Mexico. You can find him on Instagram. I don't know if he wants a shout out. Well, you can Google it if you want. Just look up Mexicat. I'm not gonna like throw his name around or whatever too much, but yeah, but he makes some cool builds. I think he's staying plenty busy, so I don't know. But I just reached out to him once just to ask for like an estimate on the cost of it, and I'll keep that number to myself since he doesn't like post it everywhere. But they're really cool boats, and it would probably be my next boat if I God willing or whatever. So he makes cats from like, he's made them as small as like 8 foot, and I think he's made them up to like 24, 26 feet. I really like he made this 14-foot Kevlar composite, and then he sold it to I think it was a mate from I want to say Bite Sport Fishing, but like a mate from a successful 6-pack charter business in SoCal, and that guy's caught a couple swordfish from it, and has done some other badass stuff with it. He fitted it with like a 50 horsepower Tohatsu, and gets like 10 miles per gallon or so, and yeah, it just looks like a sick rig for such a tiny boat. And I've like weighed out so many different options, and not that I have any money right now. Like I'm like I'll be happy to pay rent this month, but it's very, very cool upgrade. A lighter, like the composite build compared to, or the Kevlar build compared to the Livingston. Yeah, Livingstons are pretty cool, and I've seen some cool builds of them, and from like particularly the 14, 15, 16 foot models. And so I've drawn out some floor plans, and I'm thinking that I'd want to have like a dual outboard setup with like remote steering with like 20 to 30 horsepower each, so it still stays relatively light compared to like, you know, a 50, 60, 90 horsepower, and you get really good fuel economy. I think you could, according to this website that I've been looking at, if you just like Google outboard fuel economy, that might be the name of the website, but like it has some generalized stats on a bunch of different outboards, and I would guess that I'd be able to get like 10 miles per gallon at cruise with 220 to 30 horsepower Mercuries, and stick those on. Then I could go like offshore willy-nilly, and like if one dies I could still get on plane probably, and then build a nice dash like up front and have like a clean cockpit, and have like build up the floors so that the what's it called, the tunnel of the catamaran, like build up the two hulls, the insides of the hulls, to be level with the tunnel, because it does like raise up in that, especially in that small of a boat, and then you can just like store stuff inside of the hulls, and then yeah, it would be cool. Just stick a bunch of sea deck on there, and a couple reinforced rod holders, and you have yourself a fucking battle wagon. So yeah, I've just been drawing nonstop catamaran floor plans, so I thought I'd share. And then today I was delivering food for a well-known delivery food company, and delivered to this one house, and they had this boat that I'd never seen before. It was a black dog cat. So it's this. He ended up coming out, and I asked him about it, and he gave me a good explanation on it. And so black dog boats are from New Zealand, and so this boat was a 16-foot. Technically I think he said technically it's a pontoon boat, but it's basically a catamaran. And although the tunnel is kind of low, 16 foot, powered with like 100 horsepower. It's a cuddy cabin, really nice welding all around, and he had it shipped in, custom built in New Zealand and shipped in, and basically he said that if you look on their website, they the prices that they're offering are, say like the boat that he picked up was maybe like 90,000, but then once you subtract the New Zealand tax that you won't have to pay as an American, you can subtract like 15%, and then our dollar goes farther over there, so then it's less than even that. So he walked away with it for like 60,000, picked it up during COVID, and he's very impressed with it. So I haven't done much looking on it, but it is so hard to find sub 20 foot catamarans that it was super interesting to see one that I hadn't seen before, and it was aluminum. Did I say that? It's aluminum. It's like I was looking for aluminum catamarans for a while, and I couldn't find any. I thought that would be a cool idea, and couldn't find them. And then there it is, Black Dog Cat. So go look that one up. That's a cool boat. So yeah, that's about it for my Tweakin. It's mail time over here at the When Fishing Podcast. You can email me at whenfishingpodcast@gmail.com for discussions and suggestions on what to talk about, and questions and comments and whatever. So let's see what happens. Send them in. Today I got one. It's my first email for the show. Valentina2224XO writes, "Hello, sweetie. I am in your area, and I want to play with you. Do you want to play with me? Look at my profile at http:// Hello, Valentina. You sound like a very nice person to be so welcoming as to want to play with me. I don't have much time to play these days, but if you want to talk about knots or if you have some intel for me or whatever along those lines, tell me how to get better fuel economy on my outboard, then yeah, I'll come play and we can have iced coffee and talk about knots and fuel economy. Thank you." It's game land. So, tomorrow is the Rockfish opener. So I'm going to rockfish tomorrow. And then I'm going to go to work right after. But yeah, it looks like a pretty nice day tomorrow for a private boater. I think last I checked, it was still looking a little bit sporty on Sunday, but maybe if maybe on the bigger boats, on the sport boats, it'll be smoother sailing on Sunday. But yeah, it's looking like a good day one. So excited to get out there and kill a bunch of rockfish and bring home enough fish and chips for the next week or two. And yeah, so I've got a spot. I've got a couple spots that I'm already familiar with that I'm gonna try first, and I imagine those are probably gonna be loaded up with other people on a Saturday. So we'll see if there's room for me. They're pretty big areas, but if not, then I've got some other spots I'm willing to try. So there's all that. Water temp still hasn't really been able to creep up very much due to the wind and the rain. So no further advancements on the tunas and the threshers and the pelagic things, but hopefully by the end of the week there's going to be a lot more wind and rain coming up this week, so it's not going to be looking very good for boating from like Sunday through Wednesday or so. It's going to be like fucking windy as shit on Monday, and then and I think the swell's going to be up with it as well. Then it'll just steadily come back down, and a little bit of rain on Tuesday or Wednesday. And yeah, so I think Sunday I'm going to fish with my pals before they head off to the Bart Hall show, and then I got to go to work. But we'll throw the LCs around and see what happens over there. Just nice to get out and see the pals. And then yeah, and then I think Thursday and Friday, right now, it's a little bit far out, but right now they look nice. So I think that would be the time that I hop on top of some of the other bottom fish spots that I think people will probably crowd up on Saturday and Sunday, so I don't really want to even fuck with it. And the weather will be a lot better on Thursday and Friday, hopefully. So I'll be able to head out a little farther in my little itty bitty boat and feel comfortable doing so, and hopefully come back with some stories. So yeah, that's about it. And then what the fuck was that? Was that a train? I don't know. But yeah, and then while I'm out there, I might take a look around for the pelagics, since I'll be kind of ish in the zone potentially, maybe not, probably not, but see if the see what's around. So, yeah, that's about that. Have a nice week. And good luck out there, everybody. And enjoy Bart Hall, folks. For the SoCal folks, Bart Hall Long Beach is from yesterday, Thursday, through Sunday. And there's lots of information and lots of companies and booths to check out. I was curious about asking like more of like the associations, like the Fishing Game, International Fishing Game Association, and NOAA. I wanted to ask them some questions, but it's all good. But there should be some good deals. So get out there if you're in SoCal and have fun and good luck this week. Survive.